avid readers, book nerds, or casual observers. Welcome to the read-along brought to you by the Lit Round Table. I'm Anna.
And I'm Joseph, and this is our discussion of The Lies of Locke Lamora, Book 1 of the Gentleman Bastard series by Scott Lynch. Now, we will go ahead and move on to The Lies of Locke Lamora.
Setting my timer for 15 minutes this week because we gotta finish up the whole book, man.
We gotta talk about all the things.
So much happened in the last chapter.
I know.
I was writing out like a summary so I would remember what to talk about, and as I was writing I was like, oh my gosh, was this all just in the... It was all just in the last chapter. That is crazy.
A lot of stuff happens because I remembered when we stopped the conversation last time, I was like, oh... It ends with him just showing up and the falconers there.
Yeah.
So much happens after that.
So much.
So much happens.
So let's get into it.
Yeah.
What happened with the falconer?
Oh, he got messed up.
Yeah. Locke basically tortured him.
I mean...
I don't want to go into too many details because I do want people to be able to...
But it was a total upset.
High spoilers, guys. If you haven't figured it out already, this whole section is just spoiler central.
We're literally talking about the last chapter and epilogue of the book.
Know.
So if you're listening to this and you haven't read it and you plan on reading it, why? Skip forward 15 minutes. And anyway, so the falconer's there torturing John, and the Physiker is just on the floor unconscious. I can't
remember what his name is, but I think he's going to become a recurring character, so I feel bad that I can't.
He wasn't dead, he was just knocked out.
Right. That's what I mean. I think he's going to continue to be in the series.
Yeah. But then you'll have to refresh my memory on exactly how it happens, but it's because the falconer tries to use Locke's name to control him, because I kind of like that. I like that in Magic when it's if they know your name, they have power over you. It's very it's very Fey.
Yes.
Trickster, don't tell them your name or you'll dance till you die. Those weird Fey things.
Yeah.
But I think that's a cool aspect of the magic in the world. But it turns out Locke is not his real name, and neither is Lamora.
Right.
Neither one of them are his real name.
Right. And the falconer was like, well, at least one of them's right, so I'll get some control over you. And then he didn't get any.
No.
And Locke just narfed him.
Narfed?
Do you remember that? That was a word that you used to use when you were...
was that a term for getting kicked in the crotch or something? I got narfed.
Yes, that was a thing at... I'm not going to say where. It was a thing at school.
Wow.
That some of your friends said, and then you started saying it, and Mom and Dad had to be like, no.
That unlocked a core memory. Weird.
Good.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And, so the falconer gets totally wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Not just by getting kicked in the crotch, but
No, I mean, he gets... So, in order to find out what Caporazza's plan is, Locke and Jean basically torture the man. Which, did he have it coming? I mean, does anybody really have torture coming? But, I mean, he was definitely a bad person. So,
right.
I didn't feel as bad for the guy. But, I mean, kind of, though. Because of... They basically took away his ability to do magic with what they did. In the most
gruesome way possible.
Yeah, they lopped off all his fingers.
One at a time.
Until he squealed. Mm-hmm. And then they took his tongue.
Well, they threatened to take his tongue, and that's when he finally, divulged the Kappa's plan.
Yeah.
And then, after Locke decided what to do about it, he was like, okay, Jean, go ahead and take care of that tongue for me.
Well, they killed the falcon. That was the thing.
Yes, that was the other thing.
Because they shared a bond.
Mm-hmm.
They shared a bond, and then when the falcon got killed, he felt it too. And so he was incapacitated by that, and that's how they kind of got the drop on him. I just remembered. Okay.
Yes. All the things we have said did happen. I'm a little fuzzy on what order they happened in.
But it was crazy. It was quite the climactic battle. I mean, we knew they were going to have to go toe-to-toe with the falconer eventually, and it was really cool the way they wormed their way out of what should have been certain death.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. And then...
So they found out from the falconer that the Caporazza's plan was to set off this wraith stone at the big party because he had been... The plague ship came back, guys. The plague ship...
Yeah.
was how Caporazza was planning to get all of the money that he stole from Locke and the Gentleman Bastards out of Comore.
Because he's a pirate.
Yes.
That is so cool.
Yes, he is a pirate. All he wanted was the money and revenge on the elitists of Comore because they killed his
Dad?
mom
Family?
and dad and 3 siblings.
He had a tragic backstory.
Yes.
Like when the Kappa came in, when Kappa Barsavi came in, his family got caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
And it was a thing.
And so he wants revenge on Kappa Barsavi and the Donna Vortenza.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and just
and
the Duke.
everyone else.
The Duke. He wants like the entire
upper class to just be gone.
The criminal hierarchy and like the official governmental hierarchy. He like wanted to go in and just nuke everyone.
And like kids and everything.
Yeah, didn't care. Wanted them all dead. And the Wraithstone is something that gentles you.
Yeah, which I'm not really sure what that means, but I don't like the sound of it.
Anna, if you had paid attention to the setting... No.
I know that they talked about animals being gentle earlier, but I'm not like real clear on what that would look like for a human, I think is what I'm... Because like what I'm envisioning is like Narnian versus dumb beasts. Or like in Narnia, there's the talking animals and then there's the animals that don't talk. And those are like the dumb ones. So I was like, the animals that don't talk are gentled. That's what I'm envisioning.
I think it's even a step further because the animals in this are already that way.
Right.
Are already the dumb animals, and then they get
they're
gentled.
Just like extra dumb.
And then they're basically zombies. Like they just do what they're told, and they just stand there, and it's like they're not even really alive.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people, including children, that get like an entire mansion full of the entire governmental body gets gentled.
Yeah.
That would be
bad.
Not good.
So Locke is put up with the choice of, do I go after Caporaza, or do I go and save all of the higher echelon of people?
Yeah.
And the falconer's like, now you're not such a good guy, are you? Because you're going to go after Caporaza. And Locke was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to go save all these people. And I was like, Locke, you're like kind of a gray character, but right, and especially after just torturing the falconer, but...
Definitely anti-hero vibes.
But you're like, yeah, good on you, man.
He does have a moral compass.
He does.
Yeah. And, if he hadn't got that's kind of like, wasn't expecting to go into that when I was reading this, but like the ethical, dilemma of torture. Like if he hadn't tortured the guy, they would never have found out about this plot, and all those people would have died.
Right. Yeah.
So the ethics of torture, fascinating. Yeah. I would like to make a firm stance that I am against torture.
Thank you.
However,
I'm just gonna squirm over here.
Yeah, no, I am against torture for sure. But that was interesting, I guess. I wasn't expecting this book to go there. Is the only statement I was going to make.
I've basically not expected this book to go any of the places.
Yeah. Good job, Scott Lynch.
Yes. So he goes back to the party, has to convince them to let him back in because obviously by this point everyone knows that he's not who he said he was. He does eventually get back in after some shenanigans and does convince them to go look at the statues.
Yeah, because Caporaza had gifted a bunch of these statues to the Duke.
Yeah.
And not knowing that they were all had a payload inside of this Wraithstone that was going to go off and gentle everyone. So they had to go and track down all these statues.
There's just 4 of them, but they were on different levels.
Yeah, inconveniently placed.
Yes.
And not light.
No, they were heavy. It took 8 people to carry them up to the highest level so they could drown them in water, and then the vapors that did escape would go above.
Yeah.
And dissipate up into the sky.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing.
Very crazy, but they pulled it off. And I like how there was some fun banter between Locke and the what were their names? Salvares, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because Locke was like, "Oh, look at us working together. I'm not so bad, am I?" And then Sophia was like, "If I ever see you again, I'm going to kill you." She's just so done with you.
Which totally fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And while he's there, he has to convince them to let him leave again to go deal with Caporaza, which obviously, everyone else is also going to be trying to find Caporaza. And he lied and told them that all the gold was in the
Like a refuse pit, like
yes,
where the
there's
sewage
like three
goes.
there's like three big barges that take the waste out of the city.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, oh yeah, Caparaza, his plan is to get the money out that way. But also, will you please, I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, to get Donna Vorcenza to agree to sink the plague ship. Maybe he said that like
He said
that's
specifically
the plan.
for piety's sake.
Yes. Was it piety or prosperity?
Piety, because it was revealed later that it was like a religious thing.
Yes, it was revealed later that it was his like death.
Yeah, it was basically a sacrifice to the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
That
I think that's revealed in the epilogue.
yeah,
Sorry.
or maybe yeah, but basically all the money was actually on that plague ship, and he convinced them to sink the plague ship because they thought that Caparazzo was getting away on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And he said for piety's sake
Propriety.
or propriety.
For propriety's sake. So then it's revealed that it's a death offering. So basically he's paying to
Because
sorry.
of
I was looking up the thing and I didn't hear what you were saying.
yeah. I was just saying
worst.
that he convinced them to sink the ship.
Yes.
So, but it was for propriety's sake, and it was for the twins and for Bug and yeah, it's like oh
And Nazca.
yep
Naxa.
Nazca.
Okay, I was right the first time.
Yeah, but then smash cut to the Grey King. He's sitting on the floating tomb. What did they call it?
Exactly
The barge where the Kappa
yeah, hangs out.
resides, and he watches as the tower does not erupt with the Wraithstone stuff that would gentle everyone, and he's annoyed at that, and then he sees
The
his
Satisfaction.
ship get sunk.
Yes. Named the Satisfaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he receives a message from
Unknown.
an
We don't know who
unknown
it's from.
person that they're coming for him next, which kind of
Goads him on a little.
yeah, it kind of mocks him into staying, and he kicks everyone out of the floating barge and draws a sword and just kind of sits on his throne. He like redons all of his Grey King attire, and he's just ready to duke it out with whoever shows up, who is of course Locke.
Our boy who's not very good at fighting
Nope.
and gets the crap beat out of him.
Yep. But it was
It was
very
a good fight though.
entertaining to read because it
I
was
don't know if entertaining is the right word. Gripping.
yeah. It definitely
Entertaining is a funny word.
I was very invested.
Yes.
They had some good banter. It was a good fight scene. I was into it. I liked the callback at the very end when Locke finally manages to get the upper hand, which he didn't the entire fight. He pulls the trick that he did on the rival gang boys when he was like, I just have to hold out long enough for Jean to get here.
Yeah.
And as he's got like the Grey King's sword like through his forearm,
Yeah.
like all the way through his forearm, and he's like got the Grey King grappled to like try to prevent him from killing him, basically.
Yep.
He's just got him in this grip. Even though he's definitely losing, he says, I just have to hold out long enough for Jean to get here. And then he manages to throw something with his other hand
It's like a coin or something.
to distract the Grey King, and he says, Jean, finally, you showed up. And the Grey King freaks out and turns around, and then Locke takes him out.
Yeah.
So,
And then John does show up, which is good because Locke is like dying.
on death's door. Like, he has been stabbed and cut so many times.
Yeah. And John's like, you're not allowed to die. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And carries him
Carries him off.
to the Physiker to get some help.
Yeah. So the Grey King got taken out. The day got saved.
Yep.
But the authorities know who the Thorn of Comor is.
And he basically promised that he would leave Kamor and never return.
That was part of the condition to him,
Yeah.
them letting him go to take out the Grey King. So, and then the epilogue is
So we see that they find the falconer and he's like all kinds of messed up,
oh yeah,
obviously.
yep,
But he's like mentally also messed up now because he's been endured something so horrible.
Yep.
And they figure out that he's a bonds mage, and basically they're like, we're just going to keep sending this on to the next person to try and decide what to do about it, because none of us want to take any responsibility for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also see the Vorcenza, Donna Vorcenza with the Salvaras, and she, like, they discover that there's no money anywhere, and it's all gone. And then she's like, you know what? I'm going to groom you guys to become the next spider because I want to retire.
Yeah, so that's kind of revealed that they're going to be the next head of intelligence.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
That's a timer.
There's the timer. Hey, that's perfect timing. We can do like a brief like wrap up. What were your overall impressions and emotions surrounding the book now that you've read the whole thing? What are your thoughts?
It's very good. And which is a very like generic response. But it's in a specific subgenre that I don't normally read, and I really enjoyed it a lot, and I'm like excited to read the next book. And yeah, I appreciated Scott Lynch's ability to like continue to surprise me. Like I wasn't able to like guess what was going to happen as much as I do with some books that I read. It wasn't predictable in that way, which was really nice.
But it wasn't predictable in a satisfying way. Like the things that did happen were totally plausible.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
A lot of people try to be unpredictable and then it's just not
a mess.
Good, you know?
Yeah. No, this was very good.
Yeah. Well planned, well executed. In the beginning, I was worried about the way he did flashbacks. I was worried about how that would impact the storytelling, but it was very creative. And I had never read a book that was kind of structured like that, and it was really well done.
Yeah.
I still think that like the rapport between characters is my favorite part of the book, like just the relationships that he established, and the dialogue. Was very down to earth and believable for the type of people that you're reading about. You know.
And I cared about like every time one of our characters died, I was like.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Oh, I really liked them.
Yeah. Bug and the twins.
Yeah. Even Nazca, even though she wasn't in it.
I was so sad when she died.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I was very impressed. And I think the next one has more of a nautical theme to it. Like, I think it's more about them being on a boat and, like, sailing around and, like, doing stuff.
That makes sense.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like piratey fantasy. That's not that's not a genre I've ever read.
No,
so
me either.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what happens. Maybe we'll actually get to meet Locke's love interest in the next book.
She does get an honorable mention at the very end where he's like, Sean, if you ever see her, please tell her. And he was like, no, man, you're going to tell her yourself. Shut up.
Yeah. We never got to meet her, but I think probably the next one. I
bet
she shows up.
Yeah.
But so what's your recommendation? Give me a out of 10.
Oh.
I'm going to give it a solid 8.
Okay.
There's always things that could be better or different, you know. It's pretty hard to be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I would say I really really liked it. So,
I don't normally do ratings out of 10. I usually just do out of 5 on Goodreads, and if I liked it, I give it a 5.
Okay, I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
We'll do out of 5. I'll give it a 4 out of 5, or like 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5 sounds good. Like I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple parts where like some of the like the nasty things that happened were like
like the torture stuff. Yeah.
Too much.
We never got to see what's his name? The weird torture guy from Barsavi.
I'm assuming he's dead. I'm assuming that he got caught up in all of that.
Yeah.
And died. Like
I thought he was going to be like a menacing character,
No.
but I think he probably got taken out by Caporazza.
Yeah.
What was his name?
It was an ironic name.
Yeah. It was.
We talked about it in like the second.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Something gentle kindness. It was something like that. It was. Sage kindness.
That sounds right.
I think that's right.
I don't know if you've been listening or if you're listening to our like final compilation, you'll be like, duh, you said it like 10 episodes ago.
Yeah. I think it's Sage kindness.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, he never came back. But it's
I think
fine
he's
because
good.
we had plenty of gruesome torture
Oh yeah.
without him.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. So
Yeah.
let us know what you thought if you were reading along.
Yeah.
So.
Love to hear.
And that concludes today's discussion on The Lies of Locke Lamora. Look forward to our next discussion. Until then, happy reading.